Okay, open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Well, we welcome Joel Sullivan here tonight as he serves his time on the beach committee. We have an agenda tonight, so quickly going through the agenda. Minutes of August 15th, that would be Leon and Perry, if you look at them.
Yep.
Woody wasn't here, so we can't vote on it, so.
Okay, August. No, I didn't.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's not right. So, okay, we can fix that. Yeah. Any comments other than that one?
No.
We have a motion on the minutes of August 15th.
I'll make a motion just to change the first name of Mr.
Yeah,
Proto.
spell check doesn't catch that.
Yeah.
To change that spelling error. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0. Okay, the minutes of September 21st. That would be me, Woody, and Leon that can vote on it.
H.
I
Pass.
thought that meeting was a little longer than 15 minutes. Do you look at the motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 8:15.
Yeah, that was not a short meeting.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I believe it was 8:15, not 7:15.
I do read these things.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion with the correction from 7:15 to 8:15.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll go straight to lifeguard report, because we want to keep Mike here. Mike Grotto is our head lifeguard, Joel. He's going to give us a report and have some comments and some questions, I'm sure.
So since it was, I think, 2 months ago already, or 3 months, we
Right.
worked Labor Day, everything went smoothly. Pretty much we had a full staff till the end, and it went really well, and there's really nothing to report on that aspect. I just have a few questions myself.
Sure.
Do you have any questions for me, anyone?
So, yeah, the one thing, I know about the lifeguard chairs, I had Chris go down there and pull them off the beach. He hadn't had time to bring them up to the town hall yet.
Absolutely.
But when I saw him down there after you had left, I just said, get him off the beach and get him somewhere in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Which makes
So they
sense.
don't wash away in a storm. So at some point, when he has time, he's going to go down and get them.
Okay.
And bring them up here.
Now, is the red, because the red one's kind of a safe, we talked about that last meeting. Is that gonna be like refurbished, or?
I think it needs to, I can have Chris and probably some of his guys, when he has time over the winter, he can probably repaint it. and
Okay.
everything Like that. I
Yeah.
don't know if it needs, I didn't look at the seat to see if it needs.
It's
any-
not the seat, it's just honestly climbing, it's everything.
Is it the metal?
Yeah, it's the metal is completely dilapidated, it's gone. So, that needs to be,
Fixed.
I guess resurrected, yeah.
Is it cheaper to fix or buy?
Well, Diamond made both those, Diamond High School made both of those.
Oh.
And they're made out of aluminum. But one of them seems to get worse than the other. One of them seems fine. The big-
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other one seems to be kind of rotting away.
yeah, it's like, almost like it's iron or something.
It's a couple of years older than the other one, but,
Is there a difference in weight?
There is a difference in weight, honestly, when we drag them. I mean, the red one is a lot heavier than the other one, the white one.
Probably isn't aluminum.
It doesn't seem like aluminum. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem like aluminum. So, but yeah, that's pretty much with that. I know we discussed the bonuses.
the bonuses, I checked with the town administrator and he checked with the town treasurer and I assumed, last I talked to him, I haven't seen Jim in about a month, actually. He's been on vacation for 2 weeks, that everything's all set, but I'll check into that tomorrow and make sure it gets out.
Okay. I know we need, not much, but since we have the gator now, there's some other equipment we need to go along with it, I think, like a Stokes basket, and, which is basically like a stretcher. And we have a backboard. I like to put a backboard inside the Stokes basket for the gator. I have a list, it's not extensive. I sent it to Perry. I'll send it to you.
You
you know.
sent it to me, I believe. You
I
sent
did.
it to me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have, as long as you have vendors and everything like that, that we can get it from, because we have to price it, and send it to Nicole and then
Absolutely, get it
we have to
approved.
sign off on it. Basically, and make sure we have the money.
The same company that provided us with the other equipment?
Yeah, the one in Middletown?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of the basic stuff, but some of the, I will call it unusual stuff or
Yeah.
extra stuff, probably not.
I can follow up and give them a call
Okay.
based on the list that you gave me.
okay. Just a couple more things too. Again, I went over this with Perry, but want to talk to you about it as well. I think that next year, we should start a little earlier than we did this year, especially on the weekends. So what I was thinking was Memorial Day weekend. We start just on weekends, limited staff, and then when it gets to the second or third week of June, then we start full-time, but just go weekends, starting from Memorial Day to like the second or third week of June.
Yeah, we can't do that because we don't have the budget for that.
Okay,
We can do that the year after.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, the beach works on a calendar year, but the town works on a fiscal year, July 1st, July 1st. So we submit our budgets in December for the next year. So we've already submitted what will be up to July 1st, is already submitted and approved, and there's not much we can do about it at that point.
okay. So let me ask you this, when do you think we'll start this upcoming year?
I'd have to look at the final budget numbers, and then we can figure that out. If we have enough money, it's as soon as possible, because it's all about the personnel. line.
Because most of our guys are coming back. I know that for a fact. We had a good year, good camaraderie, good staff, so they should be back. Most of them need to get recertified, which I'll work with them with that. I'll find a place for them to get recertified. Probably, I'm thinking the YMCA in Wareham. Is probably the most likely prospect. And then the last thing too, again, I mentioned this to Perry. I don't know what you guys can do or anything. I know that Horse Neck, they're given, what I've heard is that they're increasing their pay. And I think we should try to be somewhat on par with them, not to the exact degree, but as close as, to
We
get,
can look at the budget, but again,
Yeah.
that wouldn't start like this year.
Again.
To July 1st.
I know.
Until after July.
but I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, okay.
Just to stay comparable to them, so we don't lose any guys to Horse Neck. Because, a couple of years we had that little crisis, I don't want that. I don't want to have that, for sure.
Yeah, we're just driven, the only money we can use is what comes in for the beach pass. So we have a limited number, so we can only do, besides buying equipment and other things, we have a number that we can or can't exceed, because we can't use taxation or anything else
Oh,
to fund you guys. So we can look into it, and I don't know what the pay increase would be or something like what you were looking for.
Well, one thing I do, that's, he's not given the official title yet, but he basically is my assistant guard, Danny Barnes.
Yeah.
I would like for him to at least get an
We
increase in
created
pay.
the position, the assistant head
what are-
lifeguard or
yeah,
something,
we had
or
a-
I think it was
We had a
assistant,
position.
yeah, assistant head lifeguard that got paid a little bit more than
He hasn't been getting, the thing is, he's been getting paid like,
we ever really appointed him as.
Well, we didn't, I think we decided that it wasn't worth having that position,
No, there was a beach manager
something,
position, which we thought was
but
kind of
we
crazy.
didn't do it.
No,
We decided
but we
not
did
to,
have an assistant,
But we could do it. We could go back. We could
assistant
go.
head lifeguard.
author-
we did, yeah, we did. It was
But we can-
Xander.
yeah, again, nothing we can do can take place till July 1st, so, we could look into that.
Yeah, because he's basically acting as my assistant guard, but is not getting, I guess, proper compensation as an assistant head guard. Like say if I'm not there, he's my eyes and sky. He runs the beach if I'm not there.
Yeah, no, and I went down a couple times, he was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we can look into that.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty simple stuff.
Okay.
Can we find out what the payroll was last summer? And then,
Like
Yeah,
maybe
well, that's what- that's what
compensate
we
him for that,
want.
yeah.
Waiting for Nicole to kick out what the final,
yeah,
because I think it just came to end of September, they went to September, and so we'll know beginning of October what total pay was from whenever we started, third week of June to now. And once we know that, we can kind of judge what, we did bring in more money with beach passes. It's a weird thing, last year, even though we sold less passes, because we went up on the price of the passes. But we also chewed into it with the Gator and there's a couple other things we chewed into it, so.
Did you sell out with passes? Did you've got a limited number of passes, right?
No, we just,
No,
we
unlimited.
sell until, we order 4,500. 2 years ago, we sold 4,300 and something.
That's good.
This year, we were like just about 3,900. It was funny, before the pandemic, it used to be 2,700. So it was kind of strange, and we were very limited as what we could do with monies. Now we have some monies, and we've
Yeah,
been trying to.
Yeah.
we raised the fees.
Yeah, I noticed, I have
Yeah,
passes.
we've been trying to slowly fund improvements.
Right.
And also pay the lifeguards so they don't all bolt to Horse Neck.
What would it look like for staff on the weekends?
It would,
You and-
it would be me, Danny, and then 2 other guards. It'd be 4 guards on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday.
Is 4 enough?
For that time period, yes, because it's not as busy. As, you know, it gets busier once the kids get out of school, June, so forth. So like I said, it would be 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. We do that from Memorial Day till we start full-time, and it'll just be weekends strictly. So, I mean, it'd probably be, I'm thinking, I don't know how many weeks it is between that and the 3rd or 2nd week
You
of
say
June.
start Memorial Day weekend and.
And just
that's
do the,
3
just do
weeks.
the weekend. Yeah, so it'd be 6 days then. That's all it would be.
I think, let's see, the next Saturday is, the 2nd of June is,
Yeah.
I think, a Saturday.
Yeah, we start the 3rd week of June every year. That's traditionally what we start.
That's, yeah,
Because I think it would,
the June 7th, whatever that weekend, and the 14th, and officially start 21st.
I think it would help curve all the problems that we had, especially at the, the beginning of the year, meaning, different things that was happening at the beach when we weren't there.
We just gotta get logistically, we gotta get
Absolutely.
other things. One thing I noticed,
Yes.
oh no, are you done?
I'm done. Yes, I am.
You should leave the locks on that storage trailer down there. I went down the other night and they were wide open.
The locks on the storage trailer?
No, yeah, we locked the,
There's nothing in the storage trailer.
yeah, no, but they were wide open and I'm a little concerned that somebody's gonna,
Take up residence.
yeah, take up residence or do
Eddie
something.
Eddie Moriarty.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't, now, I thought that was supposed to be removed, that trailer.
Supposed to be, gonna be removed next week,
Okay, so,
you know?
okay.
Because I wanted to make sure we were all set, so that's gonna be gone
Okay.
next week, so.
I think that was a great addition, a great idea, honestly, and I think we should have that back next year. It worked
Gator
flawless.
fits in there perfectly. yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's just easier than hauling stuff back and forth.
Yeah, and it saved a lot of time, too. We could set up faster, we were more efficient, so.
Well, I mean, we'll bring it back every year and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I don't think it's worth buying because it's gonna
I think, yeah.
degrade after a while because of the atmosphere down there.
Yeah, the salt and the erosion.
But I don't know why it was open the other night and I get a little concerned, like, next thing you know, it'll be wrecked.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
So, okay. Anybody else have anything for Mike?
Yeah, any addition?
Wide open questions?
Thanks so much.
No, absolutely.
Thank you for your service.
No, thank you. I appreciate
We
it.
can't really make any decisions until we look at what we brought in, what they cost us for the summer.
So, yeah, because, everything goes up. So I think we'll have money to give raises. I just don't know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be retiring to Florida.
Yeah. I don't plan on it.
But it's also, we look at maybe capital expense, because I want to get new gates this year.
Yeah,
I've had about enough of trying to close those darn things and repairing them and
yeah.
screwing them back together and all the other things that go with it.
Like I said, I'll send everything to you. I send everything to Perry, so I'll send you.
He forwarded.
Okay,
I'll forward it to everybody.
okay. That sounds good. That way everyone knows.
Okay.
Could the lifeguards do some of that work? Is that allowed? Sort of setting up during that period?
As far as setting up and doing,
Yeah, kind of gearing up for the season if they did start early? Or do they have to be
Well, who else?
specifically assigned to
well, the only thing we do is
Who else does that?
we clear the path.
it? Yeah,
Usually, just before Memorial Day, we clear the path.
yeah.
But we have to get the bird people out there to make sure there's no birds. and whatnot. And that's our one clear the path day.
Yeah.
Other than that, there isn't a heck of a lot to do other than lifeguard chairs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get the
Well, we gotta make sure that, then that the trailers there for you.
Absolutely. Now, here's another question. I actually just thought of it too. Because I know Chris, he said because the Humvee was kind of getting into a little rough shape.
Yeah, yeah.
But he said he was gonna like kind of fix it up so we would have it again next year because the two vehicles really.
Is it worth having that? I mean, is that really?
Yes, I would say so, because again, it helped what we would do. We'd only have to make one trip with the Gator and the Humvee. With the Humvee, we'd have to make two trips when we didn't have the Gator. So everything, we would just go down there, set up, and be ready. So,
Well, the purpose of the Gator was to not have the Humvee on the beach.
and
That thing is a hazard.
the Humvee,
Yeah. It's not world-worthy, is what I'm saying. So driving it,
even if we keep that there at the beach, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, but you can't lock it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Disagree with
And you
that.
leave a Humvee unlocked at the beach and God knows where it'll end up.
Yeah,
Not a good idea.
Yeah, it's just, that was the whole thing with the Humvee is like,
because it was useful because, I mean, we had, right before the Gator was around, we did have an incident where a lady cut her leg open, and we used the Humvee to, you know, bring the.
understood. You couldn't use it in the Gator? You couldn't do it in the Gator?
The Gator wasn't around.
Yeah, but not, because the whole
You could
point
do it
of
with the Gator now, but I'm just saying, say if it's a good to have a backup vehicle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it just, we can't leave it there, that's the problem.
I know.
Driving it on the road is not a good idea.
Because like I said, it was very useful this year.
Police aren't thrilled with that. Okay, we'll look into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what, because Chris is only going to spend so much time.
I know,
It's one of
yeah.
those vehicles that really needs to.
Is this a real Humvee or is
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, no,
Army-
yeah, yeah.
Army issue?
1988 AM General, yeah, Humvee.
Oh, yeah.
a big one,
Yeah, it's,
military vehicle?
oh, yeah.
I think that was
Gee
part of
whiz.
the nice thing of having it down there, is it sort of provided like a base for you guys.
It did. It really did. It was a central base. And then, you know, if my guys needed a break or whatever, they could still watch the water, but they were shaded from, you know, the elements. So it was, like I said, it was really useful.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, once again, thank you for last summer.
Absolutely.
You know, because probably in February, we'll be kicking this all in. We're gonna have to come up with a budget in January. So the next meeting, I'm planning on having all the expenses, what we have, what we need to increase, what we need to decrease. I'm not sure what that is at this point. So we can come up with a budget, and then we can figure out what we can do from that point on. Because we're gonna have to pay for the Humvee. If Chris is gonna fix it, we're gonna have to pay for that. And that's what happens with all the trucks.
Because I know there's
Put so much money into the trucks and and
there's
everything.
a lot of spare Humvees I know in the back that they could probably, you
Half
know,
of them don't run.
use, you
Half of
know.
them don't run, the other half probably aren't as good.
It's almost like a junkyard back there.
Nothing else? Okay.
Let me ask you this. When is the next meeting you would like for me to attend?
We can set that right now. No, I just got a text message. Yeah, we're still on for tonight. Not sure what kind of reception I get at my house. So next meeting
21st?
be the 21st of November.
Okay, I'll be here. You know, I mean, if you want, if not, no worries, but I can attend.
Is that a problem for anybody? Everybody? Anybody?
I don't think so.
At this point.
Okay. I just want to check because,
It's the week before Thanksgiving. then.
yeah, it's the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Alrighty.
Can follow up with you on the supplies that you
Yeah,
sent over.
absolutely.
I'll make a phone call and see at least what it costs.
Yeah, because we can get it ready. If we have enough, we can buy it early. If we
Yeah,
have enough
get our
left
ducks in a row.
Expense items is, and that's another thing too. If we have the money, you know, obviously it's better to get everything as early as possible.
Absolutely, yeah, so we're not scrambling last minute. But yeah,
I think we do. I think we were okay. Again, we'll have the budget at the next meeting, so I'll get it from Nicole.
sounds good. All right, thank you, folks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. Head lifeguard report. Town clerk report, there's no town clerk report. Complaints, email, got any complaints?
No, I forwarded the ones that I received to you and
We went over those.
responded to the others.
Yeah, most of them were too late for, like, somebody wanted a
Yeah.
wedding, and we were too late for that, so.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, now comes, finally, fence bid award contract. We had two bidders to replace the fence, as we all know. We have a low, they're about $1,000, $1,300 difference in price. One of the the high bidder, said, well, the specs for the low bidder aren't the same as the high bidder. I have both specs here. I can make copies if you want to look at it.
How much difference in the quality?
Not that I can tell. I have to recuse myself because I work with both these people, so I cannot vote on either one of these things. So we've been waiting to have more than three. We've only had three, and we need 3 votes to award or not award the contract. So I'd like to get something done as soon as possible, so I don't want to think about this next year.
I guess for me, it seems like this bid seems like in terms of the materials, is superior to that bid. And this individual is from Westport, where that.
Yeah, and I'm always.
I don't think it's too much.
Yeah.
Are they both local?
Well, we sent out to 5 people. We got 2 bids back, one from Lakeville, one from Westport. Southeastern Fence and Castro Corporation.
The one from Westwood, is that the high one or the low one?
That's the high one.
I see that.
A better quality.
21,
Yeah, and plus it's local.
This is what I'm,
Plus it's local.
We're required, as long as the high bidder, said, well, the specs aren't the same. If I bid with that specs, it would be lower. That's kind of a hard thing to do because he knows what the price is, so it's really to be $1 less than the, I think, and vice versa. So the question would be, do we send the specs to the low bidder and say,
can you meet
Comparable.
this? Yeah.
I shouldn't be discussing this because I really can't, so I'm leaving it up to you guys to make but we have bids and I want to get these in as soon as possible.
Yeah, I guess what's our time frame if we,
At this point, there is no time frame because obviously there's, well, the weather keeps up like this. There's not supposed to be a lot of people at the beach. And we have to kind of close down the path while they put this fence up.
that's
So hopefully,
the number.
I would think in
Could we
November.
give them a certain period of time, say, you gotta give us a new quote within 10 days of the similar materials?
Yeah, so both of them can do it. Time frame was the same. Everything was about the same. Like I said, one had a little better and the ties were a little different. There was just a slight difference between the two. I don't know if that makes a difference in the price. I don't know. I'll leave.
So this says approximate start date of November 1st.
Yeah.
If we approve it tonight, would they begin on the,
Well, we make the recommendation to selectmen enter the contract.
okay.
So whatever would be recommended from here, the selectmen would sign, I would assume. I don't know if anybody wants to look at the bids or,
Those are bids?
Yeah.
Well, it's all, I mean, it looks like it's all, the specifications, they both got 9 gauge, 5-foot high fence.
yeah, that's the one specification that because I'm not a fence guy.
Well, that's.
I mean, I know what fences
but
are.
that's the, so it's the same,
And this is the other,
same stuff,
oh, you got both of them there, 1 and 2.
9 gauge,
Yeah.
I think.
It's something to do with the,
What was the difference? Posts?
the coil wire, bottom coil wire, and the fence ties. He's doing a fence tie every 12 inches on the top rail. That would be Castro, Southeastern Fence. Does not do that.
Yeah.
I would think, these right here?
No,
Okay.
the top rail, so, the little aluminum,
Yeah.
you see them, yeah, so.
How important is the top rail?
I hate to prolong it
Pretty
even
important.
more.
So it's, basically
Is that what
keeps it nice and
holds
tight.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, that's why I'm asking the question.
Well, can we ask them to make them identical?
If you want to make a motion, to that effect, I could contact.
Well, we've got, and we really have to have
We need them both the same.
they have to be
Right.
both the same, and then we really are obliged to take the low bid.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to take the low bid.
Yeah.
Because they're over $10,000.
Exactly.
so.
but we need the same
So we
product.
need the same specs. That's
Right.
I'll entertain a motion from someone. I will recuse myself, but
Okay, well, I'll make that a motion then to have the specs, decide which specs to use, probably use the Castro specs. And then.
Yeah, how much would it cost
See if the other
for him
person
to
will have-
include those?
Hit on that.
second item is both of them were lower than what we have in our PD bank.
Sure.
So we have 330 fence we're going to replace. Anybody who's been to the beach knows that that last section from the big pine tree going to the beach is just about disintegrated. That's what we're planning on replacing. We can replace more sections because we have more money. We want to say that. That's why we have on these bids, you'll see
A unit price.
a unit price per section. We could possibly add 5 to 6 more sections.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we need to ask them for,
Well, wait, is the unit price on here?
It's
43, what's the other one?
$43 a linear foot.
That was one. What was the other one?
A 10-foot section, $600 per 10-foot section.
So there's quite,
So he's talking $60 per linear foot.
there's quite a difference there.
Yep.
Well,
It'd be more of a repair of the existing fence that's further up on the hill. There are some sections that need replacing.
I think if we have the money, it'd be great to replace it, because it looks like it's, you know, a safety hazard at this.
Well, that last section, I mean, there's shards of
Yeah.
rust and most of the fence is being held up by the sand more than anything else.
So if we ask them for identical
Specs.
Specs.
and what the cost would be for those additional sections, and if they could do that, complete that.
Yep. We have about $24,000 we allocated through a town meeting out of our enterprise fund to replace this fence. And obviously the high bid was 20, so we have a couple of bucks here and there. But we can only spend it on the fence.
Well,
We're
We
stuck
get more
with it.
fence.
So
Yeah, but we get
if we
more.
want, we'll just get what we can get out of it.
Yeah.
and
Keep
that's-
it going, yeah.
Exactly. We'll go do that.
all right, so let's make that a motion. We'll
Send the specs out.
decide, take the spec from the Castro proposal and send it out and
Send it to
resubmit it.
to Southeast Fence. Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
to
They
Southeast.
rebid.
And then add the, how many feet of fence do we want? How many feet of fence can we
Well, it
afford?
depends on what their price per linear foot.
Yeah.
If, we can put another 100 feet if it's $42,
Well,
$43.
if we've got a unit price, can we just do that?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
so,
all right.
I'll second that.
Motion,
all in favor?
aye.
aye.
4-0, I'm recusing myself. Okay, excellent, finally. I'm gonna leave number 8 for last. Landscaping ideas for lot. You were here, Woody, last,
I looked at it, I mean, I just couldn't really grasp what the objective is.
well, there's some concerns that it looks shabby,
Yeah,
I guess, for lack of a better term. So I went to a couple of fence people and to price out some fences. And there's a million different types of fences and a million of what we may or may want to do. So I don't know if it was suggested we put up a fence at the parking lot that says Westport Town Beach. People aren't big fans of the flashing highway sign.
Is
So,
there a
So there is a
tenth?
sign that says permits required.
yeah,
Well, is that on the beach property
Right.
Yes.
right now? So we could have a permanent sign made.
yeah, he could.
Okay, well,
Which will be destroyed.
Because,
I agree.
if we want to do a
I
sign,
agree with her.
a
Yeah.
sign that looks something like this, that's made out of basically plastic wood, I don't know,
well, it's a pretty
PVC.
good sign at the Hickory.
Is it totally necessary? Because that's a pretty desolate area during the winter.
It-
And it does take young guests in the area. I belong to the yacht club, so I down there a bit, you know, and I've been a little shaky on putting up a sign.
Yeah.
Because how much money are you gonna put into that when you have a very limited budget and have it destroyed and then you gotta repair it? I just feel, you know, a sign attached to something that says, stickers required, Westport residents only, or what, however.
Even though we have a big 6x8 flashing sign, everybody can't read it because what
Right.
sign? What are you talking about? And you see it
Right.
going down the
That's
whole
right.
road. you
Yeah,
can't
that's
miss
right.
it.
Yeah, I know where you are now.
Is
But
the-
apparently, that's not big
I
enough.
think
Is
that's,
this sign to let people know that they need a permit, or is it just? to
Well,
say
it's a
Westport
permanent sign,
Town
and
Beach?
I guess the question is, like, when you if you get past that sign,
Yep,
if like, for instance, there was a
You gotta
box
turn it.
structure, one of
Yeah.
your box structures in front of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You just, you know, you wouldn't see that sign if you just shot past it. And then you have these 4 bays that don't say anything. I mean, there's bays, there's signs on the gates that say Westport Town Beach sticker required,
yep,
but most people don't see those. So
Sure.
somebody said, why don't we have a sign right there on one of them, in the center that says Westport Town Beach?
yeah. I did
This
speak,
was a recommendation by the select board and not necessarily mine. I don't want you to think it's my idea, because I think it's
Selectmen,
because I don't know what your landscape.
selectmen are feeling strong on this?
there was a local
That's a reason to
monument
disagree.
company
Huh?
that said
this is, that's a reason
they
to
would be
disagree.
willing to.
I can't see wasting the
assist
money.
us if we wanted to do.
It's
it.
gonna
I
get
mean,
destroyed,
But I don't
There's
know
enough
if
there, and you
you'd be
just
able
get
to
the
see that.
police down
No,
there
it's like
and make some money.
a big,
Big rock.
that's
Yeah,
what
Yeah,
I
I
would
wouldn't
like to do. I
be
would
hard.
like to have someone.
I think the
hired
question
to
is, you
stay
know,
there. We
wouldn't
could
be
get somebody that
hard-
has
be hard to read.
background.
yeah, the issue
and
would be,
we pay
you-
them and
you put up something like, you know, like they put at state parks, you know, the wooden signs with the gold leaf
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that says Westport Town Beach, or do you do all? I happened to be, I'm working for a sign shop in Somerset, there's a big lawsuit and everything, and, I was looking, I asked, so I was in there and I said, what do you got for signs? He said, well, go down the road, there's a sign I did, and these are made out of, they look wood, but they're made out of PVC plastic, so it'll last forever. Wood is gonna kinda.
Right, yeah, yeah. of
You
course.
know, but the wooden signs that you see, you know, whether you go to Horse Neck or Freetown State Forest, you can do one of those, the brown with gold leaf.
Well, there's one at Hicks Bridge, there's a sign, there's a nice sign
Yeah.
with a
Okay.
little
Yeah,
map sort
so-
of thing on
Do
it.
we
Yeah.
have a budget for the landscaping and the sign?
Well, the question would be, we have money for capital improvements.
Sure.
I don't know what we're thinking of capital improvements. I mean, I don't know how you landscape a beach, because not a heck of a lot grows. I know everybody doesn't like it because the weeds grow up,
Yeah.
but it's like, that's what grows at the beach. And the
Yeah.
problem is you can't mow it in the summer because there's cars parked everywhere.
I would think if we knew the dollar amount, we could reach out to maybe.
Well, there are, I mean, there are, you know, Rosa rugosa, there are things that people plant on a beach that will grow.
Right.
it's invasive.
But
You
somebody's
can't
gotta
use
do
those
it.
or go-
Yeah, yeah, there's all these other things, the basis problems, but it's like, the pine trees are starting to grow up, at the entrance, but everybody doesn't like the weeds, and I understand that, and the other thing is the utility pole dividers, I guess. I think,
They're not aesthetically pleasing.
well, I was thinking that you could take out the horizontal members and use a rope,
Yeah,
that would look
Oh,
more,
yeah.
look better,
Would it make
be fairly
sense
inexpensive.
to engage like a landscaping company will give you a design if they know what you're looking to spend? And I don't know how that plays out, but I just feel like we're not, for us to go out and design the landscaping of this area, we're all gonna have different ideas of what it should look like. And based on what we can do, we're fairly limited.
Well, but the railing, but to plant anything, or to have, if the railings are there,
Right.
separating the parking, the air for it, the 4 lots or something
Right.
like that. And as long as the railings are railings, the weeds are gonna grow.
Right.
So unless there's some other landscaping,
Well, there was an issue brought up by a woman who was here last meeting about, you know, improving the parking lot itself, because the potholes, like increasing the apron size, because that's where the potholes always are when you come in and out of the parking lot. That's easy to do. You know, you get Daniel Seal coating out there and do their thing. But I think the selectmen were looking more, or they were suggesting that it'd be more I don't know how to say it, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
To drive in.
Sure.
But I don't know what you do. I mean, some people like it the way it is because
Yeah.
it's natural, it's wild. It's one of the few places left that's like this.
I don't think I mean, if you were gonna do a sign and you did gates, I mean, the gates, one of them's knocked down, you're down there struggling to close them.
Be- Yeah, because that's one problem. Because I was also thinking having like a little kiosk type thing like they do at the landing, Hastbridge Landing, you know, a little covered thing.
Yeah.
With announcements on
Well,
a
it's got
board that says,
rule, yeah, rules
you know,
and regulation, doesn't it?
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
Right.
you know,
That was like-
rules on it?
you know, put it right on the path where you walk out of the parking lot, have it right there and say, you know.
I like that idea.
Pack out your trash.
That I
Yeah,
love.
whatever, you know, all the, like the land trust properties have the little thing or a little
Yeah.
map
Yeah,
or a
that would be
little,
great.
I think you could do something like that and you could have announcements, you know.
But you're not gonna see
Lifeguards.
it driving in, you know,
No,
if you're.
no, but you put it,
Yeah.
you know, right where you walk onto the
Yeah,
path. It'd be
yeah.
right in front of you,
I
right
think
there.
that's a great idea.
Years ago, there used to be a garden club in Westport. They used
Still
to
is.
meet.
You take care of the little island next to the fire
you
station
go.
there and a couple of the
I
other
wonder if they'd
places.
be interested in doing something down there.
It's the Westport Gardeners Club or Westport?
I don't know what it is.
And, yeah, I mean, we can contact them and see if they'd be interested. I'm just not sure, it's the beach and not a heck of a lot grows down there, that's the problem. It's
What about the beach rose?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Rosa
what-
Rugosa,
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's the,
No,
yeah,
you
beach
can't.
That'll grow.
Yeah, but you can't anymore, it's invasive.
yeah. There's things you can and can't plant on a beach. But, I mean, we could do something, I don't know what we want to do. Again, think about it, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah,
That was my idea.
Yeah,
I
I
can't think
just-
of
I
anything
looked-
else. That's as far as my
I took one
imagination
look,
goes,
but
Yeah, I mean, you can drive by there and I don't know what you
Unfortunately,
would do.
you know?
nothing hit me right away.
Cobblestone paths, you know, what do you do? You know, Westfield, I think it's kind of crazy, I think, you know, there's issues some people have with
Well, did you
that.
hear the story about the quahog shells?
I mean,
There was a great story about the, when, in Rhode Island, well, there was a farmer in Tiverton who had huge piles of
Manise,
quahog,
Right.
Manise,
Manise.
yeah.
And he was, and it was getting pretty ripe, very ripe. So there were complaints. So the DEM came down and said, you gotta remove these things. And he said, well, you know, I sell the stuff, I leave it out there until it
Drives it home.
dries up, and then I sell it for paved driveways and stuff. And then they, no. And it got pretty heated. They were gonna put this 80-year-old guy in jail.
They did?
And Lee Gardner in Adamsville was the head of the Rhode Island Farm Bureau, and he went ballistic. Anyway, so then one of the sons got they had been shipping quahog shells. They said, okay, well, here's how many, you can only have this amount of quahog shells on your property. So one of the sons had been keeping track of how many loads they sent to the Carnegie Abbey Golf Club for the cart paths. And then finally they said to the DEM, okay, if you send my father to jail, here's a list of the directors of Carnegie Abbey. Send them to. Shut 'em up.
Squelched it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to do shells in the whole parking lot, I don't know what you can do, really. I mean, we cut back the weeds.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, we cut back the weeds, there's poison ivy, there's not much you can do. We try to do everything.
Plus, shells aren't easy to walk on at bare feet.
Well, no, I mean, just for the parking area maybe, but a lot of people walk barefoot in the parking
Right,
area too.
exactly.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more stable as far as the surface there, and that's part of the problem. I think, you know, it's a sand surface, and in the winter it heaves all over the place, and I don't know.
So-
Well, think
so
about
does
it.
I'll
the-
go take
So
that.
does the
Yeah, let's
highway
take another-
department, can they go in there and just grade it?
Well, they do, in the spring, we grade it, we
Right.
clear out the path, they cut the weeds back.
Right.
but It doesn't take a couple of rainstorms later, and
Yeah.
you're back to square one, you know?
Right,
You can only do so much there, you know, you're only allowed to do so much on the Barry Beach anyway.
right.
So there are.
As you have informed me.
Of that, so, having said that, so, anyway, think about it, okay? Reorganization of the committee. Anybody want to be chairman?
I vote for Sean. I nominate Sean.
Great.
Second.
All right. Anybody want to be secretary? Because
I could be
Vice chair.
secretary or,
I think more of a vice chair would be appropriate,
Sure,
just in case
yeah.
I actually don't make a meeting.
yeah. If somebody could take over the email aspect of it.
If you give me the access to the
Okay.
email, I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, that's part of the problem. One of the things everybody complains is, you know, we're
Yeah.
always a little slow on the
Yeah.
email.
I try to get to them as quickly as possible, it's just working.
I don't have a problem answering the
Yeah.
email stuff. I mean, most of them are good questions
Yeah.
or concerns.
I also think if we could put on the website, like we talked about, like questions and answers, sort of like facts.
Well, we need to have access to the website. And I don't think any of us,
Okay.
Lucy Tabby used to do it. She's not here and hasn't been with us for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, we're the only committee board that doesn't have like a full-time administrative assistant to do these things that would make it our life
Nobody
easy.
posts to that site.
No, I mean, we post all the agendas, but nothing gets posted on the website because nobody has access to it.
Would the town clerk be able to assist us? in
I can
getting
ask
us
her
access?
if she would like to. I mean, I know they're busy.
Because I think a lot of the questions, they're the same questions that come up over and over again.
Well, everybody asks the same questions like, you know, why don't I do this and why don't we do, and you try to explain to them about the birds and everything, and then they finally, everybody gets it, you know, you
Yeah.
can't run a bulldozer down the beach. You know. There's some things you can't do, we're allowed to do, and I answer those questions all the time at the beach. People go, why can't you do this? And this is why. You know, why can't we be open at 8:30 at night? Why can't we,
Sure.
and all these other things, and I guess we could, depending on other things, but. Okay, we don't have any unanticipated items, so I'll go to members. Starting over to my left, does a member have any concerns, things they want to address in future meetings, or anything that you want to bring up? No, like I said,
Right now, I'm just gonna hold until I'm gonna learn
So
to
you-
listen and
you-
listen to learn right now.
yeah.
That's
If you have
what
any questions about, and you'll have plenty of questions when it comes to the budget, because you'll be shaking the head, you'll start realizing that,
You know, so I just wanna get my feet wet right now and
I mean.
learn how it runs and what are the issues, and
if-
then I'll be able to pipe in and give you my dollar's worth.
Yeah, actually, I should, Brittany,
Bethany.
Bethany, I'm sorry, Bethany. You have any questions? You're
No,
sitting-
actually, I don't have any. No.
Okay, all
I
right.
was just, I knew there were continuations from the last time, so I was just curious about the fencing and also just like to be able to answer questions, because
Sure.
I think that that's really why I came, because people are always like, oh, what's going on with this, what's going on with that, and like,
Yeah.
it's nice to be a resident who has some answers and can help distribute the proper information.
Yeah, I mean, the beach regulations and all that stuff is posted in the town clerk website. But we need to we have our own little page, but it hasn't been updated since 2020 probably. Since before COVID, and Lucy has passed, obviously.
I think that would be good if we could.
We just don't have we don't have an administrative staff, so to speak, to do these things. And I'm not sure how we get access to I'll ask. I can ask Paul or somebody and see what we can do about that. Anyway, you have nothing.
No, I'm just gonna hold until I get the idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we
Doesn't
do
seem-
have a thought, some of the things, the policies change, now we have to do policy changes, because we need to change any policies to the beach, whether it be beach pass policies, regulations, whatever that's in place, you know. We need to do it now, because it has to be in place by January 1st.
I think having certain policies in place, it seems like we do it on an individual basis on some things when it comes to gatherings or a wedding or this or that. And it, you know, I don't care either way, but as a committee, I think it makes sense to have a policy in place that you can turn to and say, well, you know, we either allow this or we don't allow it, and this is the reason why we do, or this is the reason why we don't.
Well, one of the things that's been concerning me over the years now is it's being used commercially.
Sure, yeah.
People are making money off the town beach, whether it be, and whether you're in favor of it or not in favor of it, doesn't matter, but, you know, you have yoga classes, you have the boot camp.
Yeah.
You've got photographers, you've got weddings, so when does too much?
Yeah. I
Well,
would think it'd be difficult.
well, if the people going to these classes are not residents with beach passes,
I know the yoga classes, there are I don't wanna say quite a few, some people who are not, don't have beach passes, I don't know if they're residents, but they don't, for sure don't have beach.
Well, and if these are commercial, people pay to take these classes, then
Well,
we should
there's
set
a
up a,
suggested donation.
well, I mean, we could set up a fee schedule for,
Well, there's that, but there's also, like,
you know, commercial use.
because for years, you know, I ran sled dogs at the state forest, and you had to get a permit from the state to do that. You had to show $2 million liability insurance, and you had to show that, yeah, because if something happens, somebody gets hurt, somebody breaks a leg, somebody dies, somebody drowns.
But there's no reason why we couldn't set a, you know, a commercial use permit fee
Yeah, well, that's, yeah, and there'd be requirements, so like you fill out a form,
with,
and we could pull, we could
Release.
actually use the state form
you
where
know,
it
and
says,
anybody attending the class. we just
right, it says how many people are
Copy
involved.
copy of the
what-
release.
You know,
When did this
Stuff.
start?
what's that?
When did they start doing yoga down
I know, I usually see the flyers start appearing in June, and they do it
We
every
have
Sunday,
never, we have
Sunday
never
morning.
had that come before us to vote on it.
Yeah, we have dueling, two people that are doing it that I'm aware of, because I see two different flyers.
How would you
One's
enforce
doing
it?
Pilates, one's doing yoga, I don't wanna,
Well, just any, it would be like anybody, if there were a scheduled time, then people who were attending the class would need to have a special parking pass that they would get from the person giving the class, that we would,
Yeah.
who would be paying us a commercial fee
Yeah, for using,
to get those passes.
sure.
Right.
I think they
Yeah,
could,
that's a little bit different
do
than
they ask for
what
a
I'm hearing
suggested
here.
donation, or is
Well,
that an actual?
but that's
it's
what I
not- It's really just a
would
gathering.
look into.
and
Yeah,
that's why they
that's-
do it that way,
yeah.
but it's,
Because
you
it's-
see the same people gathering
It's-
every
Yeah.
week.
We can,
Yeah.
obviously, it sounds like any way we can take in more money is to the benefit
Yeah,
of the
but they-
beach.
well,
Well-
just control it
Well,
somehow.
it's more of an issue of, you know, I always look at liability ever since I got on this committee. I worry about if something happens and somebody sue the town.
Right.
And
Like-
we're sitting there holding the bag because lawyers love towns suing
Right.
towns because we have deep.
Well,
You're like a wedding party going up in high heel shoes on,
Yeah, or even worse, you know, there's 100 people down there and they all decide to go for a swim because they had a couple of cocktails,
yeah.
you know, and,
True,
you know, you're.
But usually they come before us and ask permission to do their photography there and
Most of
stuff like
the
that.
photography, not so much. The wedding, it's almost
I mean, wedding
guaranteed.
photography, you know,
Yeah,
taking
well, the wedding
pictures out
stuff,
there.
they usually, it's been pretty good, and we've had a lot on both places, the Nubble and Charing-Way.
Yeah,
Because, and they're usually pretty good, and they say it's just a wedding party at 12 or
Yeah.
something, and it's gonna be on Saturday, whatever, and yada,
that's
yada.
different than a yoga class.
And I don't
that
mind,
Paid for.
I don't mind that as much, especially if they're a town resident. I
Right.
mean, it's a town beach, it's a facility that everybody should
Mm-hmm.
use. It's when you get, you know, 20,
Hey,
25
class.
cars that showing up,
that's,
you know.
yeah, that's what I
mean,
was.
Well, I
it's
don't-
4th of
I
July
don't-
At the
weekend.
Nubble?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't want to have some town resident who pays for a beach pass come to us and say, why do these people get to use it for nothing?
Well, that's the age-old question whenever,
Yeah,
you know, it's,
But that comes down to enforcement, right? Like the police going down there and ticketing.
yeah, but
I mean, they don't, yeah, I mean, that's why most time in the summer when it's a wedding thing, they usually say, hey, we're gonna have 5 cars, and we let the police know there's gonna
Yeah.
be 5 cars here on the Saturday between 6 and 7 for, you know, a service on the beach, and then they go somewhere else for the.
I think
I-
the fee schedule makes sense. I think there you will get around it by saying that it's a suggested donation, and there's just a lot of individuals that are friendly that are getting together, but.
Well, when they're advertising on Facebook,
Yeah,
and, you
yeah,
know, like, you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's an organized
well, are these lessons,
for-profit.
people give these lessons for free?
No, no.
They give a
Right, it's a
suggested.
yoga
Right.
instructor
right, yeah,
class.
you know, and I don't know.
It's paid for,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Right.
Well, I mean, they can incorporate their class fee with the parking fee, and
Yeah,
they can
exact-
raise it on
exactly.
their
You
end,
know, we
you
take-
know?
I mean,
Oh, they could start at the
But there has
state,
to be some liability.
you know? You got a lot more parking down there.
well, you know, the boot camp parks at the back eddy, and they run
Yeah.
on the beach and everything, and, you know, that's always a thing. You know, what do you do about, because it's getting more and more frequent. Like, it used to be spot things, but now it's, all the time type thing.
Yeah, I guess if they're parking there, they're using the beach as their central point of running their operation, that's one thing, but how do you stop them? I mean, they could enter from anywhere.
Right.
And then you can't just stop a bunch of people running on the beach and say, we want your money. Although there should be, I agree, a fee schedule for.
Right, and it doesn't have to be a huge fee schedule,
Yeah.
but it should be reasonable, but it also, you know, I think it's an enforceable thing that if people start showing up, you have 50 people doing,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think you need
yoga.
the police to go down and ticket them.
Well, I think it's just, it's a fairness thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
Well, I think it is, because
Every
technically,
week, they're not gonna come back.
technically, if people are doing that, you're supposed to allow everybody, go out to bid and say, we're allowing people to hold yoga classes Sunday morning at 8
Sure.
o'clock. You wanna bid to see who gets the higher bidder. That's what typically happens.
Mm.
And it turns into, okay, well, maybe we're not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're supposed to do in the public.
Even if we're not involved with it, could we just set up a fee schedule?
You don't want to drive it away, you know what I'm saying? You
Weddings
want to
are
be
one-
able to keep activities for the townspeople to go to.
Right, no, and I'm all in favor of that. I think it's a matter of, I see it creeping, you know, turning into, because
I know, yes,
on Sunday, if July 4th falls on a Sunday morning and they're holding yoga classes and you're going down there to get a parking
hear you,
spot,
I hear you.
And there's 10 people without stickers.
well, that could all be part of
well, that could be
contract-
a
the
part of
contract to
agreement
use
would be
it.
That they're out of there by 8 in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know what time they leave. I know every Sunday morning they're waiting to get in when I go down there.
Yeah, and I think they do it at Elephant Rock, but,
Right.
you know, there's no control.
Well, they do it at the head of Westport, at the landing at Westport. I know they do yoga up there also, and there's all kinds of places, and the question, I just don't want to not think about it, then all of a sudden it turns into a giant, you know, battling yoga classes
Would we
or,
make a recommendation to the selectmen to?
Right.
and
I think
institute a
so.
policy that includes a fee schedule?
Have a fee
for
schedule for,
Commercial activity that happens when they're parking and using the beach as their central.
right, yeah, I think so, yeah. I think it's more, as much of a notification factor as anything else.
Yeah,
To let us know that they're on a Saturday night in the summer, which is usually very busy anyway, that it's gonna be a little busier than normal,
sure.
or something. The weddings, like,
Just fill out like a special event permit.
Right.
right, because you pull us,
Event.
that's what happens.
so that we know what's going
You know
on, and
what's going,
people,
and you can hand them the expectations of the rules of the
Right.
beach, so that, please share this with your
Yeah,
patrons, like, you must have a beach sticker, and the parking is at this time, and you must be off the beach by this time, like, whatever expectations or rules you set up. And that way, whoever's running the event has those and is supposed to share those with the people coming.
And
can
we're
they
not open to
indemnify us
lawsuits.
From
yeah,
liability?
well, anything that's free will
Because one of the things
be,
that-
anything that's free will be abused.
Yeah, one of the things that scared the heck of me, 3 years ago, there was a wedding and they had those Japanese lanterns
Yeah,
that they were lighting, that ones that,
Oh, yeah,
and I'm watching them float over the dune grass. It's like, one of these crashes in the dune grass, there's gonna be a forest fire that we're all
Right.
gonna be sorry about,
Right.
you know, somewhere.
well, as long as they're burning, they stay up there.
Yeah, well, yeah, until a gust blows them and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff is like, yeah, I don't know about this. Not that it was affecting town beaches, more floating over private property, which is even worse. But, it's that kind of stuff. Do we come up with a list of, okay, this is what you can and can't do? I mean, if they're having a wedding, are they breaking out champagne? You know, we have a rule, no alcohol on the beach, not strictly enforced, but.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what other beaches do, if other towns have a policy.
I know, like, if you go to Freetown, you're doing something like that, or a
Yeah.
bike ride, or a cross-country
Yeah, yeah.
run.
Yeah,
Liability insurance, a
Yeah.
permit, gotta have it there, boom, bang,
I would
bang.
imagine Horse Neck has the same,
Yeah, same with all those
Requirements.
runs
Yeah.
and things they do, you know, those,
could mirror that.
well, you download the form online, the state form, just
Yeah.
mirror that thing, it's very simple form.
Yeah,
But the question is,
Like, even the town of Westport, if you're holding like a 5K or something.
yeah,
There must be, the town has those.
special requests.
well, the question
Yeah.
is,
Special events.
Yeah.
Probably just something for you.
Yeah.
it's not the wedding of 12 that's the problem, it's the wedding of 212 that's the problem.
Right.
Because we've had people
Yeah.
the watershed, they're having a get-together at Mike Sullivan, they want to use the parking lot just to park, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But we know they're there, and I know not to lock them in and get them all in trouble. But it's just something to think about, another thing, because I just see it creeping. It's, as the beach gets smaller and the town gets bigger.
I could print out for the next meeting what the state uses and bring that, and then we could take a look at it.
I'm real familiar with that, you send it to DEM, and they okay it, and they give you all kinds of conditions with it,
Yeah.
they send it back with you. It's
Yeah.
like a simple $25 fee application, but then they say you have to send insurance forms,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah.
Which I'm sure they don't have. I mean, somebody who's just running
It's actually not expensive. To get insurance from event, it's not that expensive.
So
It really
what do
isn't.
you do? Yeah,
Like a big event. And,
Spindle Rock requires
yeah,
yeah,
when they're gonna.
renter have other named insured or whatever.
yeah. So, anyway, something to think about. Anyway, Pass V, Perry?
Nothing, I think the lifeguards, Michael seems a little bit concerned just with retaining our current guards, competing with Horseneck, but also, you have the college students coming home, and then there's that lag time. I think if we have a start date, we let them know, and we have those dates in place in advance, so they know, okay, Tuesday before we start, we're gonna meet at Town Hall, go over all the paperwork and the expectations, and then, we start the following weekend or something, just a little more structure behind it. I even worry that he would leave, and if he
I don't know,
left,
because they're
then we-
trying,
yeah.
Tortnick's trying to poach him.
Yeah, so we would
We already
be,
know that.
yeah, we would be in tough shape if we lost him, because he
Yeah.
does scheduling and a lot of the
This
things.
is the problem 2
Yeah.
years ago when they poached all our lifeguards, and then
Yeah.
it was like we didn't have any.
Yeah,
They took we had 8 lifeguards because of the pay. I mean, you're making $14 at Westport, 21 at the
Yeah.
State Beach, it's not a no-brainer.
I think we're pretty
That's
comparable.
true. I ran, pre-incident Vietnam Veterans Park at, pool at Lafayette Park, it's a state pool.
Yeah.
And I would be challenged to get lifeguards.
Yeah.
Just for the state if they went private. Because even at the yacht club, we had a lifeguard for quite a while, but the pay wasn't there, so
Yeah.
we did away with the lifeguard.
I mean, we were competitive with the state,
Yeah.
and obviously, truthfully, as a lifeguard, Cherry and Webb is a pretty good gig.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you're competitive with the state, I mean, we can only be so, state has unlimited funds, because they'll just cut the funds to Westport to increase
But
that.
they have much more rigorous program too,
Yeah.
that you have to go through, that you don't have to do in
I
Westport.
can remember as a child taking swim lessons in the town beach,
Right,
over on the riverside.
It's a
Right.
huge liability
Yeah, I don't
problem.
know who, was
People
it
don't do
through
that.
the town, or was it,
It was Joni
through the-
Slather and that
Yeah.
whole group, but that's a huge liability,
Yeah.
huge liability
Yeah.
problem.
Nobody does that.
Yeah, it's because it's a huge liability thing.
Yeah.
Pool's one thing. The swimming lessons in the river or the ocean is a whole different, those, 28-year-olds, it's like, I wouldn't want to be responsible when they're all in the water.
sad.
Woody?
No, the only thing dredging going on.
Has it started? Has it actually started, or are they just sitting there
It's been
looking at
going
each
for about
other?
a week, at least a week.
I've seen the boat parked there, but I haven't seen much activity.
Well, they took a load out yesterday, and they took another load out this afternoon. So they're filling a huge barge and dumping it
Yeah.
off the campground, I think.
Yeah, and that'll wash up, on the sandbar and,
But they have to, the barge has these doors that open up. like this.
they just dump it in, they let it
So
de-water
they-
and they just dump it.
So when you add the depth of the barge and then the doors, and they've gotta be in, at least 15, 20 feet of water to dump it. So it's out there.
Yeah, it's not gonna get anywhere near the beach, so.
I don't think it'll change the beach much.
I think what's gonna happen is gonna end up on Half Mile Rock, you're gonna see a giant sandbar you'll be able to walk to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But they're charging ahead.
Oh,
I mean, it's quite and they've got at least 6 guys out there every day on this thing. All
Well, I've noticed that
2 tugboats, big barge, little barge, crane.
I've noticed the windmills now off of Block Island that you can see from the beach.
Oh, you
Better
gotta
than
go to-
ever.
Go to Elephant Rock.
Well, no, well, it's nice and clear, a nice clear day, you can see them real clearly now off Cherry and Webb, so.
Yeah, well, that's the,
Vineyard, right?
no, it's South Fork.
Yeah.
Goes to Long Island.
Yeah,
That-
yeah, we're facing the wrong way for the
Yeah.
vineyards, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they, and I'm not sure, might have just barely seen one off the end of Cuttyhunk.
Yeah,
Vineyard.
I've seen it from East Beach.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Out there, but they're way out, those are way out.
Anything else? Anybody has anything else? Concerns? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
You got it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Here we go.